So Xiaomi Philippines has finally released the Redmi Note 12 series. I've been actually using its Redmi Note 12 Pro way before the local announcement. In fact, I already reviewed the Pro Plus model, which you can check in the description below. And since both Pro models are using the same chipsets, software, display, and battery capacity, my experience relating to those is virtually the same here. So I highly recommend watching that video before or after this one. But for today, we're going to talk about the smaller, more affordable sibling. So the Redmi Note 12 Pro retained most of the features of the Redmi Note 11 Pro, but for the same price, at least for the top model. So compared to last year's model, the Note 12 Pro's size is essentially the same, with the same camera setup except for the main sensor, more on that later, the same stereo speakers and headphone jack setup, and the same capacitive fingerprint scanner and 5000 mAh battery capacity. Even the square frame and back-to-back glass build are still the same. The front is using Gorilla Glass 5 and the rest of the entire build is still dust and splash resistant. If something is missing here, that would be the microSD slot. Otherwise, I like the matte finish on the plastic frame and the lightweight feel it provides compared to last year's version and the Pro Plus model. That while keeping the same battery capacity and 67-watt fast charging. So using the charging brick from the box, the phone can get you to 50% in just 15 minutes and 100% in just 46 minutes. Unlike the Pro Plus model, you don't have to toggle anything to unlock the maximum charging speed. When it comes to battery life, the Note 12 Pro isn't the most efficient. I would say it's good, but not great. I've used another Dimensity 1080 phone with the same battery capacity from another brand and average 6 to 7 hours of screen time. But here, I consistently get 4 to 5 hours of screen time. But if you're a light user, this phone can still last up to 2 days worth of use. The great thing about this phone is that it's brighter than last year's model and supports Dolby Vision playback. So in the auto brightness mode outside, the 6.67 inches OLED screen can reach up to 900 nits. I certainly had no problems when it came to outdoor visibility. Perhaps the only thing I noticed is that I consistently had the brightness slider around 80% indoors, as anything below that appeared to be dimmer for my eyes. And if you think you're missing out on the Plus model's display quality, nope, not here. They basically support the same 120Hz OLED display with support for over 1 billion colors. I was actually surprised to see the Plus model opting for a flat instead of a curved one, given its competitors in its price range were sporting curved panels. When it comes to performance though, the Note 12 Pro is significantly better than the Note 11 Pro. Last year, we faulted Redmi for opting for Snapdragon 695 5G, which didn't offer a substantial upgrade for consumers. Xiaomi heard us and gave us an upgrade this year, and it's the Dimensity 1080. Yes, it's from MediaTek, but you can't deny the performance gain you get here. I mean, last year's chipset was just okay for general use with some gaming on the side. This year, it's more than okay for general use and supports more games that you can play at 60 frames high settings. As usual, I had no problems with popular games like Mobile Legends, and although newer titles like Ragnarok Origin barely hit 40 frames, it's still impressive considering how rich in detail and graphics the game is while delivering a sufficient gaming experience. Basically, it's almost as good as Snapdragon 778G. But much like the Plus model, I just wish Xiaomi didn't reuse Android 12 with MIUI 14 on top because this software is mostly the same as the Redmi Note 11 Pro. If there's one thing that would put you off here, that's probably the cameras. Well, just the main camera, because last year, the Note 11 Pro was using a 108 megapixel Samsung sensor, and this year, on paper, it looks like a downgrade with the Note 12 Pro's 50 megapixel Sony 766 sensor. Well, that's not really the case. That's because of two things. OIS and 4K video. With OIS, you get sharper photos and more stable videos across all resolutions, and with 4K, you get the best video quality out of the sensor. Both were missing last year, and most people were disappointed with the way the 108 megapixel performed. After taking countless photos and videos, I have to say that the 50 megapixel sensor here is worth the upgrade. 80% of the time, I like the shots I got with this phone. They looked sharp and bright, albeit colorful and over-processed at times, but they're something I was excited to share online because the photos and videos looked good. Yes, Xiaomi still tends to soften the skin tones and brighten the images you capture, but with the right lighting and angle, this phone can get you great shots with no edits needed. However, I still think the ultra-wide sensor needs some hardware upgrades in terms of sharpness, especially the macro sensor. The selfie camera looks just fine and okay, nothing spectacular. If Xiaomi could somehow use a 32 megapixel next time, I think it would elevate this lineup as one of the best overall cameras, but for now, you get an okay selfie camera phone. Some quirk I noticed with the camera is that 50 megapixel mode suffers from chromatic aberration. I like using this mode to eliminate the over-processed look of the images, and it's very useful in 2x mode since the digital zoom you get in normal mode is very smudgy, so I hope Xiaomi gets a fix sooner than later. Night mode isn't as aggressive as the Plus model, so the shots you get at night are not as bright. As usual, limited indoor lighting is still the greatest challenge for this phone. Videos, on the other hand, are exceptional. The quality is just outstanding at 4K. Yes, handled in 4K still looked a bit shaky, but nothing a gimbal or a mini tripod can fix. I think it's easier to get better looking videos than better looking photos with this phone. So for those who want better videos, this is an option. So for the Redmi Note 12 Pro, for the same price, you get significantly better performance, good cameras with better stabilization and 4K support, a brighter display with Dolby Vision, and a lighter build that's literally easy in the pocket. The upgrades may not be drastic, but for those coming from older Redmi Note generations, this may be well worth the upgrade. Maybe even the Redmi Note 10 Pro if you want a significant performance upgrade. But yes, you don't need to spend for the Plus model with a 200 megapixel camera, because the Redmi Note 12 Pro offers better value without sacrificing anything. That's basically it for this review. Drop a support like if you like supporting the channel, and as always, until the next one, stay safe.